you get this little honeymoon period at the beginning. So you think everything's fine. And I kind of went into it thinking, I'm just going to eat everything I want. I'm going to just, my body will sort itself. It'll know what to do. I'll just eat as I go and just, play as I go. And I think I got about a week. Maybe 10 days where everything was fine. And then literally bang on. I read in somebody's blog, it's like, wait for day 10. I was like, nah. And by this point, I was like, I'm not going to get any problems. Day 10, that's when the swallowing pain starts. And the kind of initial response to it is it's a bit of a shock because it feels really strange, because obviously you know how to swallow, and then all of a sudden you forget. It's like it doesn't, like how you think you swallow doesn't work. So you're swallowing and it's all of a sudden like it's getting stuck and you're not quite sure what to do, and it's like this is really strange and it feels like you're just swallowing air. But if you read other people's blogs and you read what they did, if you just don't drink anything cold and just eat everything in really small bites, as soon as you realize that, everything's fine. I think about week, we're talking like I was getting this like once in a blue moon, often first thing in the morning after you've slept for a long time without your esophagus being used. The first thing you would eat in the morning, sometimes you could feel it. It didn't want to stretch, but obviously once you got over that initial few bites of food, it was fine and it would work. Just, just have like a warm drink before you first eat in the morning, and just don't eat giant bites of food. Yeah. That's all you need to do. I had, so obviously one of the things when you're recovering for the surgery is to make sure that you eat every hour or so, just to keep everything moving. And one of the things I found with SIBO is that my particular one is very, very reactive to sugar and really bad with gluten. So there are two things I just cut out my diet completely. When I did my surgery, I found that the only thing I wanted to eat was biscuits. So I was eating gluten-free biscuits, but they were full of sugar. So my SIBO symptoms got really, really bad, but it wasn't affecting, they weren't like my reflux symptoms. It was all the gas and the bloating, and everything was kind of the bottom half. This was one of the most frustrating things, was because I think if you go to speak to a kind of your GP or a regular doctor, they probably won't even know what SIBO is. I spoke to my doctor, he had no clue what I was talking about. He'd never heard of it before. So obviously you go there and you start looking on the internet and all these, and SIBO is really complicated. And also it's very, very, it seems to me, very specific to the individual. It's kind of what will cause problems for you and what will cause problems for someone else. It's kind of, you've got to go through all your food types and you've got to work out which things that you can have and which things you can't. So it's a bit tricky. And then obviously you put reflux on top of that. And because all of these things are quite complex, like, for example, with the reflux, I knew about the going upside down and lying upright, and on nighttime, don't eat 3 hours before bed, stay away from spicy, all the usual stuff. But then if you add SIBO on top of that, all of a sudden you're mixing things up, and SIBO's saying you can have this, and then reflux is saying that you can't. And then all of a sudden you realize that you actually can't have anything. And it's just like, what? So this is why it was like, I have to have surgery. I have to do something about this, because I've got to a point where I can't sleep. I can't eat anything. I'm not allowed to eat anything. I can't do any physical exercise or go upside down or do anything that I do on a daily basis. As soon as you have any sugar, like, it's very gassy for a really long time. And they were the most uncomfortable, sugar and gluten. Yeah.